Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is finally time to bring Tommy Sheppard onto the show. Basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati. I say it 3 times to keep your third eye open. And also the Le Batard Show. Yeah, see, look, he's part of the show. He's got it.
I love it.
Amin El Hassan here as well. Tommy, we were talking earlier. Amin and I were strolling through, and we were feeling like, hey, Summer League is back.
No question. I tell you what, it is so awesome to get everybody back together. It's such a celebration of basketball. But it is amazing what it's become and what it's morphed into. And every program has a sub-program. Every space is filled. And it's just neat to see the fans. The best thing for us is when you see the kids and they're here to see their guys that they get to watch on TV and realize, hey, these guys are real. And they miss shots and they get mad and they make shots and they're happy. And it's just cool. It's great to see.
Tommy, were you here for the first Summer League back in '04?
What was I? We were one of the charter members. We had 6 teams. Played in Cox, and they made everybody sit on one side, so it looked like the place was crowded.
TV, yeah.
It was classic.
Did they have people filling the seats like at the Grammys?
It was like the Grammys, and most of the people were like, they're against their will. Like, hey, what do you mean I have to stay here for an hour? You know, but once it caught fire and people understood what it was, it's basically our baseball spring meetings, right, or spring training. Mm-hmm. So it's taken off, and it's never gonna look back.
What do you think lit the fire, like that it became what it is today?
Just knowing that you're going to come here and see a rookie before the launching of his career. And you go back to the dreams of, you know, from Kevin Durant playing here, LeBron James playing here. I remember when John Wall, we brought John in here, Rookie of the Year. I mean, there were so many classic moments, and people remember him. Kyle Kuzma comes. He came correct the other day. He rolled in and just kind of happened to hang around by his sign that as he's on the Wall of Fame because he was an MVP. His team won the championship. It means a ton to these guys. The fond memories they have. Your first experience in the NBA is not your first game. It's Summer League. And it means so much. And it's neat to have. We had dinner last night with 6 of our players who are here. Every one of them talking about Summer League all in Vegas, and they remember their games. So don't think it doesn't matter. It does.
There have been several signature moments in the history of Summer League that just stand out. I was wondering if you had a favorite one or one that just stood out for you more than others.
You know, we've had some great battles over the years. Just games that you go, like Glenn Rice, of all people, he won the MVP one summer and was drilling shots from everywhere. And it's just neat to see a young guy get going. But I don't know if I'll ever forget Anthony Morrow dropping numbers.
Dude, I'm telling you, like 47?
Insane.
Legend.
And he's such a great kid. You know, I celebrate these guys. You get to know these guys when they're young and you're interviewing them and seeing when we get together for draft combine, those relationships don't end. And then you see these guys that don't get drafted or they go to a different team, but you get to watch them come here and carve it out and compete and all the emotions that go with it. And it's really a very humbling experience to see. And then when you see somebody have success, to your point, like Anthony Morrow that night, the whole gym was happy for him because he's such a great dude. And Jeremy Lin, you know, when Jeremy Lin became a household name in Vegas anyway for Summer League. Mm-hmm. For us, Bradley Beal showed up out here, had a hell of a camp, did a great job in Summer League, and I was stuck with me that, hey, that kid is going to be pretty special for us.
Why do you think, you mentioned earlier Kuzma's here, you got 6 guys from the team that are here. Mm-hmm. Why do you think vets continue to come back to Summer League? They don't really have to be in Vegas. LeBron doesn't have to be in Vegas, but he shows up every year.
I think a big part of it is to show love to your young guys coming up, and that you're here, we're teammates, we're mentors, and we ask our guys to take them out. You know, we try to make sure there's at least 8 a.m. curfew or something. But
of course,
8 a.m. curfew.
You try to make sure that the young fellas see, hey, these guys, they're here and they're watching you, they're critiquing you. They want to see you do well, but this is a job, and they're going to tell me if they think you can play or not. So it's great. I always look at it. It's wisdom passing along wisdom, and the game takes care of itself. The game takes care of game. These guys come up and they look up and they look over, and you got all these players on our squad, and it really helped Johnny. You know, Johnny Davis, he got a text from Bradley Beal this morning. Said, "You're the best player on the team. Act like it. Go out there and play hard.
Right.
You know, and do what you do." And, you know, Johnny, the ball wasn't dropping for him, but he's still playing hard. He's doing all the right things, and everybody sees it, and that's what comes from that. Our players gave us that feedback. Hey, that guy, nothing changes. It doesn't matter if he's doing good or bad. He's going to keep balling.
So what do you look for in a lottery pick like Johnny Davis coming into Summer League? Shot might not be falling, but what are some of the things as a GM and someone who's been on the personnel side you just want to see from your guy?
Competitive gene, 100%. You don't stop if it's not going your way. You don't quit if you don't get shots. You don't bitch at the refs. You go and you play hard and you guard your yard. You do whatever it takes. Coming out of ATOs, how many guys remember exactly as you know from the video room? Okay, we just went over this. Who remembers? Like those kinds of things. It really starts to give you an idea of what you're dealing with.
Man, there's so many guys. Like,
oh my God,
you look them dead in the eye and they're like, got it.
Yeah.
Walk out on the floor, no clue.
Idea.
Just no clue.
No, that's where you try to put the X here, O here. But you know, Summer League brings it all out. It's so much fun. Also for me, there's so many international players trying to come back to the United States. You know, we have Pierre Henry, and Perry has done such a good job for us. But you know, he was playing for Turkey, Fenerbahce. They won the championship of the Turkish league, and he's here trying to get an NBA job. And just watching his journey. And then we have some international players from got a kid on our team from Latvia, and just his experiences and watching him as he drinks all this stuff in. It's just a fun basketball. I think Burning Man in the desert for basketball, maybe. I don't know. Something for everybody.
I feel like it's like basketball con.
There you go.
Because you see jerseys around here, and you're like, man, that is the most obscure.
Some randos.
I saw a Vladimir Radmanovic Seattle Sonics jersey, man.
And
I don't know if I was going to get topped this week.
You know what? I'm gonna take a picture and send it to you if I see the guy again. I saw Jamario Moon.
No.
Yeah, Cavs jersey. And I was like, is that Jamario? No, you know, but like, you're gonna find that Jamario's a great player.
Yeah.
But you know, that's a diehard fan who had that jersey.
I didn't know they made a Jamario Moon jersey.
As they should, though. He was a hell of a dunker.
Yeah, he was. He had the hops. Back in the day, there used to be a choice of which summer league you were going to go to. Some teams went to Orlando, and some teams came here. And over time, it eventually became everyone is coming here. But back when it was a choice, I remember when I was with the Suns, we had a conversation about whether or not we should go to Vegas because of all of the distractions. And eventually, we ended up saying, I want to know who gets distracted.
Absolutely.
When you had the same philosophy, I'm going to assume you were a charter member, as you remind us. But what kind of, I guess, conversation do you have with your team prior to this experience beginning?
It's a real simple one. This is a business trip. And it's not just the Washington Wizards watching you. It's the entire league. And it's the entire basketball planet, because there's 30 professional leagues that are represented here all through Europe, all through Asia, in South America, and they're all looking for employees. And whatever you do here is going to be front and center. Everybody's in your business. And it's weird about the NBA right now. The fans, everybody is just consuming so much content, and everybody recognizes people right away. So there's you surrendered your privacy. You're going to come play Summer League in Las Vegas. You either got to enjoy it, embrace it, or stay in your room. But if we have to tell you to behave when you're out here on a job, basically a job interview, then we got the wrong people.
Have you ever had to have a discussion after?
Oh,
that's the pre. What's the post discussion like?
That post discussion is McCarran Airport. There'll be a car picking you up. Good luck. No more bets, you know. Because you don't want pollution in your locker room, especially in summer league. Because everybody's they're here focused trying to get a job.
Yep.
So if somebody can mess that up, bad enough for themselves, don't let them mess it up for anybody else. Don't let them mess up for coaches. You know what's here? Everybody's one chair over. The assistant head coach is now the head coach. The refs that are in the W and the G, they're out reffing NBA games. The trainer, the assistant trainer is the trainer for this. Everybody's auditioning for their next job, and this is a very serious opportunity for them. Don't let anybody screw it up.
So we were joking earlier, like, you guys screwed it up with the Wizards for the media because you got Bradley Beal on a long-term contract.
Man,
We've been trying for so long to get him out and get him in the trade rumor mill.
And now you created stories, man. We just created fan fiction.
There's
Bradley
so much
Beal
content.
in a Miami Heat jersey would look really good alongside Jimmy Butler. Bradley Beal needs to go to the Nets to be the third guy. Like, we did all of that for, what, 2-3 years? And here comes Tommy Sheppard with the big checkbook saying none of that.
No, you know what? We had tremendous support, obviously, from ownership and Ted Leonsis, but it was Bradley's decision. And you know, there's a few of those guys left out there that they're wired different. And you know, Bradley's on the East Coast, Dame's on the West Coast, but they're both kind of wired the same. It's like, hey, we're gonna win. We can win with me, and we can win it here. This is where I want to be.
Right.
And respect my decision, and that always resonated. But you know, of course, you're always worried in this game, as you know. But we had 10 years of relationship, speaking every day. And I got my word, and he's got his word. You can be about words, or you can be about action.
Because, you know, the funny thing, because the way the collective bargaining agreement is set up, we all knew what Brad was going to make. No one out here was saying, I wonder how much money he's going to get.
We didn't know the extra $2 million was going to be
the
kicked
cap
down
went
the
up. Yeah. Damn.
Surprise.
Damn BRI, you know. So you know vaguely what the money's going to be. What's the negotiation, I guess, if any, or is it just a formality?
No, I would never say it's a formality because he still has a decision to
Right.
make. We had to go through the roster, go through the books, and lay out what our vision was. And, you know, you always want to make sure you're in alignment, but there's a trust too. And that's one thing Bradley and I have always had. We're just straight with each other, very transparent. It's like, hey, we're going to try this. If it doesn't work, we're going to move to plan B. 2 years ago, right, we got eliminated by Philly in the playoffs in round 1. And we definitely we got out-talented. We ran out of talent. From that team to now, there's only 5 guys left. And 2 of them didn't even play in that series. So go up, fast forward to the beginning of last season to now, we have 10 new players on top of that. So that's what you do when you're not winning. You've got to continue to try to go out and acquire talent any way you can. I think this summer we addressed some defensive needs out on the perimeter. We got a young fellow in the fold, and Johnny Davis. You got to keep moving forward. And for us, the opportunity at deadline, twofold. Bradley, we're pretty sure he was going to be out for the rest of the season. That sucked. But let's get ahead of free agency. Let's do a trade at the deadline. We acquired Kristaps Porzingis. You know, he's a very unique player, but he and Bradley didn't play one game together.
Yeah. We were just joking because he's wearing this jersey and it doesn't have a name on the back, and I'm like laughing to myself, like, that's the NBA now. Is like there's so much transactions, and I feel like for you, Tommy, since you do have all these personal relationships around the league, it's got to be hard that you have to make some of these deals because you have such a bond with some of the players or some of the coaches or the trainers that you've been with. But now it feels like how many deals have you done since you took over?
Yeah, too many. You know, but you got to keep moving. The one thing we do celebrate are the guys that get to stay in the league. You know, Thomas Bryant, what he was able to accomplish getting back to the Lakers, and Howell Neto going to Cleveland. And, you know, just neat to see these players, if they're not going to be with us, get a job, keep going, provide for your family, and we'll see you in the winter.
Tom was crying earlier. He said Tommy traded the second best point guard in the NBA.
Ish wants to set the record.
You didn't even have to say his name, man.
Ish wants to set the record. I'm going to tell you something, and that's one of the more surreal calls ever. But I called Ish and said, Ish, you're going to Denver. You know, he had a non-guaranteed deal, and it was contingent on him going in that deal, and that deal became guaranteed for him. That was a really proud moment for us because he meant so much to our organization. But we knew at deadline when we acquired Ish, it was a non-guaranteed deal. It's come in handy, as you guys know, in the summertime. But for that to happen to such an unbelievable human being like Ish, and knowing that he's going to Denver, where I got a lot of people, that was going to be a great fit for him, a safe place for him to go, and they're going to be a dang good team with the MVP on it. It's not like, hey, we're sending you off. You know, like, he went to a great spot, and it was great for us.
What's your favorite Ish story? Because, like, I just found out that he watches Everybody Loves Raymond before games, and I'm like...
It's a way to psych himself up. You know? And, you know, there's so many great things. He's a parent now, and he got married, and it's just to see the love that he has for his child, and talking about that. Like, before we talk about basketball, we talk about movies, now we talk about babies, because everybody knows I got 7 kids, so they all think I'm some kind of Yoda about kids. I'm like, hey, man, talk to their mom. I'm not, you know. But it's a new area for him. And one of my favorite stories, though, going back to your original question, was when we acquired Russell Westbrook. He called Ish and said, Ish, I'm coming in at 11 o'clock tonight, pick me up. And Ish is like, Russell, you know I don't work with you anymore. He goes, no, I got traded to D.C. It's just like, and it was on. It was on. Because we got the deal done. Russ hung up the phone and called Ish.
No way.
And Ish didn't know yet.
I like the idea that Ish is like, maybe he's confused.
But those two are very, very close. But it was just so funny. It was totally Ish. Like, he said, no problem, but you don't play.
You can play a game of, like, instead of Kevin Bacon.
No, he's played with everybody.
But I don't have to tell you two, but what an unbelievable compliment it is to have that longevity, so much of it because of your character.
Undrafted.
Undrafted. And Ish will tell you, his first summer league here, he played for the Houston Rockets, and he was out in the parking lot afterwards, and didn't play particularly well, and I knew his agent at the time, and I grabbed this and I said, son, I promise you, you're going to be in the NBA. Just keep doing what you do. You're going to catch on. You're going to catch on like wildfire. And he brought that story to me when we brought him back. It's like, man, you told me in the parking lot. You know, don't ever take it lightly what kids remember. You know, when you're talking to players, it resonates. As you know, it'll stick with them. They'll remember what you say.
I think you told me once that, like, John Wall and him are the two fastest end-to-end players.
Absolutely.
Is there anyone else who's coming for that crown that you've seen come through?
There's a lot of cats that you go, they're awful fast. I would say, you know, watching Jaden Ivey, what John Morant does, those guys have an awful lot of John in them for sure. Ish is a different kind of speed with that ball because he basically just pushes the ball ahead and runs to it, pushes the ball ahead and runs to it. But I would say those two are up and coming for sure.
So one of the things that's remarkable about the Bradley Beal contract is, yes, there's reportedly a no-trade clause in there, but I was thinking to myself, how many players are even eligible for a no-trade clause? There's only, what, you have to get 8 years with
absolutely.
the team.
No, 8 years in the league and 4 years with the team that's giving you the thing.
So it really isn't all that easy to get in the NBA in the first place.
No, but I really want to encourage you guys to try to get one. I think both of you guys should have that. Hey, look, Bradley, he put up an awful lot of speculation about what his heart was about, who he was about in the outside world. And all he kept saying is, I'm telling you, I love it here, I'm going to stay here. So when he does it, people are shocked. It's like, you know, you tell me what you're going to do every day and you do it. And I go, I can't believe you did that. It's like, yeah, there you go.
So what are you most excited about with this new team? You said Kristaps hasn't played with Bradley yet. No. So what are you most excited about with this new formation of the team, with the Monte Morris trade as well?
Yeah. I think the way that when you have Will Barton, Monte Morris, DeLon Wright, we know those three guys out on the perimeter are going to help us. We know that Kristaps at the rim is going to help us. This is all defensive stuff because we were awful. The only reason we weren't 31st in the NBA is there's only 30 teams. We did not do well on the defensive end. We know that, but we also had a lot of reasons that were outside of basketball. We had a ton of COVID, we had a ton of injuries, a ton of change. So now if you solidify yourself, you get a summer to work with everybody. We've done an amazing job, Wes and his staff, of going out visiting players, laying out what their roles are going to be. I like what we added in the perimeter. I like having another young guy in the pipeline with Johnny Davis. When you go back to Rui, Denny, Corey, 3 straight guys that were all in our rotation that we drafted. Then you add, like I said, when Kuzma came in, he brought the ring and the swag that came with it. And so now you just kind of look, you say, well, that's a pretty good depth chart. And then, you know, depending on how things go, hopefully there's going to be so much competition for minutes as opposed to people being handed minutes. And that's really what makes the best teams.
Now, did you alert the ticket department that Will Barton is from Baltimore, and so the ticket requests are going to...
Baltimore alerted us, I promise. But everybody remembers Will. One thing we're really proud of it for the Wizards, any player in the DMV that's in the NBA will tell you, they're always got a key under the mat. We always take care of them. They can come. And we saw Will a lot during COVID. He came down for testing sometimes, and he always can come get a workout in our place. We love players to do great from the DMV.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the situation and, like, it is the new normal, is that a lot of teams with the transactions that they haven't played together. And so the first half of the season, I feel like for a GM, you're just like kind of learning what your team looks like way more than it used to be, right? Like
Absolutely.
that incubation period is so much more important now with all the transactions, right?
Absolutely. And the time, you cannot put enough emphasis on how little time you do have in the offseason. So whatever time you do have, and you can get those guys together. But you got to have to, it's kind of like, you know, let them get together, let them bond at their own pace. Here's what we want to do during the daytime. You guys get together at night, vibe it out, see what's up, and then you get the feedback pretty quick. And I'm really excited about the way this group has received each other.
Tommy, when you look at the game overall across the league, what's something that needs to be fixed, whether it's a rule on the court, whether it's how our game is covered? When you look at the game, what do you think, oh, man, we need to do better as a sport at this?
You know, I think there's a lot of stuff. Obviously, they're addressing the take foul. There's some stuff I think that, and the NBA, the officials, they're the best in the world, and they still get free advice every night. And they're still always on the grill. The only time you hear their name,
unsolicited advice every night.
Oh, it's unbelievable. But I would say I think the instant replay stuff is going to get better, and the decisions making are better. You got to just know that it's not easy to officiate NBA athletes. They're the best players on the planet, best athletes you've ever seen. There's stuff that does not look possible. They can do it easily. you know, and I think that's an area that's going to be a big area of contention as fans are more and more interested in the game. Maybe not the final score as much as some of the stuff that happens during the game. There's a lot of that going on. And we're here in Vegas, as you know, people betting on summer league games and stuff. So I think there'll be a lot more interest in the officiating and stuff like that. And you got to be careful.
Do you call up Adam Silver and say, look, the game is too hard to defend anymore? Like, that's why we're bad at defense. We got to get these rules so that we're not at the bottom of the defensive rankings.
No, man. You know what, Adam is the best. He really is an amazing commissioner. The growth of the game since he's been commissioner is unparalleled, and he cares deeply about the game. And I think every team, we all are aware this is a great life. Let's not screw this up, fellas. Like, this is a great league. Let's continue to prosper. More players now from around the world. Almost a quarter of the NBA international players. Look at the 3 MVPs international. Like, it's the world's game. You know, the NFL is America's game. Basketball is the world's game, and the NBA should be the flag bearer for basketball in the world.
Tom has a podcast about the show Top Chef.
Yes,
he's a foodie.
Yeah,
he's the guy that, like, he's our Yelp. You're telling Tom, we're trying to figure out where to go eat. We're in Vegas, a town that has a lot of great restaurants, both on and off the strip. Give me the Tommy Sheppard top 3.
Oh, you got to start with Piero's here. If you know anything about Vegas, that's the old-timer spot. But that's a place. When I worked here with Coach Tarkanian, you always knew where he was going to be after a game. You go to Piero's. That's a great spot. I'm a big Jose Andres fan. He's a huge guy in D.C., but Bizarre Meats, top shelf. You could do an episode there by itself. Fantastic.
Bizarre Miami. Like, that is a legendary spot, yes.
And there's so many spots way away from the strip you got to get to, but I got to give a shout out to the stakeout. When I worked at UNLV, the stakeout kept us alive because it's like $2.99 for all the wings you can eat stuff.
How many could you put down in your heyday?
You know, I would say enough to where I could fly. You know, you had enough wings. We would just crush that place. So every time I come here, I don't eat there anymore, but I still give it props because it kept us alive back in the day.
Are you drums or a flats guy?
Flats.
Flats, yeah.
100.
Are you mild, medium, hot?
Hot. Got to go hot and above.
Attaboy.
Got to bring it.
My guy.
Blue cheese or ranch?
You know what? I go hard on the buffalo sauce, man.
You don't even no mix nothing.
You know, you try to lay off the dairy a little bit. That's too much calories. This bikini.
Yeah, we're eating wings, and he's like, you know what? I want to light.
Where's the salary?
A Diet Coke, please.
All right, well, I'm going to we got to babysit him. 8 a.m. curfew tonight?
Absolutely.
Is that what it is?
That's what we tell our players, yeah.
Okay. Well, Tommy Sheppard.
Man, it's a pleasure, guys. You guys do such a great job, man. You're making people laugh. We need that in this world, so thank you.
No, thank you, Tommy.
Thanks,
President and GM of the Washington Wizards. Congratulations on a lot of action this summer, and we're excited to see the Wizards next year.
Thanks a lot, fellas. As they say, you find out in the winter what you did in the summer. We will see. I can't wait.